Welcome to the Deeper Thinking podcast. Several years ago, I had an experience that fundamentally altered my perception of reality. It was a moment that challenged my assumptions, reshaping the way I understood the world around me. Ghosts linger in more ways than one. Some haunt abandoned buildings, lurking in the shadows of forgotten histories, while others exist in the recesses of human consciousness, waiting to be acknowledged. Ghostbusters may appear to be a simple supernatural comedy, but beneath its surface lies an intricate meditation on reality, belief, and power. It is a film where skepticism collides with the unknown, where the structures of science and bureaucracy struggle to contain forces beyond human comprehension. From the moment the Ghostbusters first engage with the supernatural, the film explores the fragility of knowledge, the limits of perception, and the unsettling realization that the world is shaped not just by what we know, but by what we refuse to understand. Within its comedic structure, Ghostbusters serves as an exploration of the fundamental tension between scientific realism and constructivist epistemology. Egon Spengler, the most rigidly scientific of the team, embodies the belief that ghosts can be reduced to empirical data, quantifiable, observable phenomena that can be studied, measured, and ultimately controlled. In contrast, Ray Stantz embraces a more fluid, almost childlike wonder, suggesting that the supernatural is not merely an anomaly to be captured, but a mystery to be experienced. Their opposing views reflect a broader philosophical debate about whether reality exists independently of human perception or is actively constructed through interaction. This echoes the principles of new materialism, particularly Karen Barad's theory of Agential realism, which argues that objects and phenomena do not have fixed essences but are continually redefined by the ways in which they are observed and engaged with. The Ghostbusters devices, tools designed to measure and contain supernatural entities, do more than simply record ghosts. They shape the ghosts themselves, defining what can be understood and what must remain beyond the boundaries of scientific inquiry. Ray's accidental summoning of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man offers a striking demonstration of this interplay between belief and reality. His childhood memory, involuntarily recalled in a moment of fear, manifests as an enormous destructive force, demonstrating Jean-Paul Sartre's concept of radical freedom. In existentialist thought, human beings are condemned to choose, and with that choice comes the inescapable burden of responsibility. Ray's mind does not passively react to external forces, it actively creates them. His inability to suppress thought results in an existential crisis where imagination and fear directly shape the external world. This scene captures an unsettling truth. Reality is not merely something that happens to individuals, but something they unknowingly participate in creating. In this sense, the film extends beyond its comedic premise, engaging in a profound reflection on phenomenology, particularly Maurice Merleau-Ponty's argument that perception is not merely a passive reception of reality, but an active, embodied process. Yet, the ghosts in Ghostbusters are not merely spectral entities. They also represent suppressed knowledge, histories that refuse to be erased. This is most evident in the film's critique of institutional power, personified by Walter Peck, the EPA agent determined to shut down the Ghostbusters operations. Peck's rigid adherence to bureaucratic logic prevents him from accepting the legitimacy of the supernatural, mirroring Michel Foucault's concept of power knowledge. Foucault argued that institutions dictate what constitutes legitimate knowledge and, by extension, what is dismissed as irrational or illegitimate. Peck's refusal to acknowledge the Ghostbusters' work, despite overwhelming evidence, reflects the historical resistance of institutional authorities to paradigm shifts in scientific understanding. The ghosts then become metaphors for disruptive knowledge, ideas and truths that institutions attempt to suppress, but which inevitably break free, often with catastrophic consequences. The destruction of the containment unit encapsulates this theme. When Peck forces its shutdown, the ghosts previously held in stasis are unleashed upon the city. This moment serves as a striking parallel to Thomas Kuhn's theory of scientific revolutions, in which periods of normal science are periodically upended by paradigm shifts that institutions initially resist. The film suggests that attempts to suppress or ignore emerging knowledge are not only futile but ultimately dangerous. The ghosts, much like suppressed truths, return with force, destabilizing the structures that sought to contain them. Beyond its critique of institutional authority, Ghostbusters also delves into the realm of cosmic horror, though in a way that subverts traditional nihilistic interpretations. Gozer, the film's climactic antagonist, is not merely an evil entity. It is an incomprehensible force that exists outside human logic. Unlike conventional villains, Gozer has no clear motivation or moral framework. It simply is. This echoes Eugene Thacker's concept of the horror of philosophy, which suggests that true horror arises from the realization that the universe is fundamentally indifferent to human existence. In many ways, Gozer embodies object-oriented ontology, OO, as described by Graham Harman, a perspective that argues that objects and entities exist independently of human perception, possessing their own reality that is unknowable and inaccessible to human understanding. However, Ghostbusters offers an alternative response to the existential dread often associated with cosmic horror. Instead of succumbing to despair in the face of the incomprehensible, the Ghostbusters confront the unknown with curiosity and adaptability. Their victory over Gozer is not achieved through brute force alone, but through an understanding of the entity's own logic. This approach aligns with posthumanist philosophy, which suggests that survival in an increasingly complex and uncertain world is not about dominating or categorizing the unknown, but about learning to engage with it. Unlike traditional horror narratives, which emphasize human insignificance, Ghostbusters suggests that while reality may be uncertain and the universe indifferent, humanity's ability to adapt, collaborate, and think critically offers a path forward. Through its humor and spectacle, Ghostbusters invites audiences to consider profound philosophical questions about reality, knowledge, and belief. It challenges the idea that the world is a fixed entity, instead presenting a vision of reality as something shaped by perception, institutional power, and the very act of inquiry itself. By blending elements of existentialism, phenomenology, epistemology, and posthumanism, the film transforms what appears to be a light-hearted supernatural comedy into a meditation on the mysteries that lie just beyond the veil of human understanding. It is a film that reminds us that ghosts are not merely entities to be captured and contained. They are the echoes of suppressed truths, the shadows of forgotten histories, and the lingering uncertainties that continue to shape the world we think we know. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Deeper Thinking podcast, an audio essay read by me, Holly, your digital narrator. To learn more about the subjects covered today, check out the links in the show notes. Until next time.